What started in Kenmore Square in Boston on September 14, 1970, as the Little People's School, serving students with complex learning profiles in grades 2 and 3, has expanded in its 50 years to include students ages 8 to 22. In 1971, the Learning Prep School, as it's now known, moved to West Newton besides the St. Bernard Parish and continues to serve students through the Massachusetts Law, Chapter 766.
Students have the right to an education, and public schools, if they're not able to service the kids the way they need to be serviced, have the ability to send them to these specialized schools for specialized services.
At the Learning Prep, those specialized services focus on mild to moderate learning differences like anxiety, dyslexia, expressive receptive language issues, autism, limited social pragmatics, and executive functioning challenges. And what has stood out over the 50 years is how the teachers and staff create an atmosphere of inclusion and a safe environment for students to excel at their own pace.
Most of our students come to Learning Prep having not succeeded. You don't see that kindergartner anymore who loves to walk in the room and go and pick up a book or play with blocks. You see students who are dreading going to school, who have anxiety around school. Once you're at Learning Prep for a very short period of time, that changes. You get students who start to love to come to school again because they know they have a path to succeed.
Parents agree. After their child's first day of school, they saw a profound change in their attitude about going to school.
The first time she came back from school, you could just tell by her body language. So her shoulders went back, and you knew that she could be herself and confident. That's all you want for your child.
It's been a wonderful experience. My son is doing so well, and it's really opened up a world of learning for him.
And I picked him up at the end of the day, and he loved it. And he was sold immediately.
Current and former students also agree. They found a place where they fit in and learn at the same time.
I guess you could say paradise, because I felt perfect, fit at everything. Teachers understood my problems and what happens to me when I get distracted. So just basically all the teachers understanding and kids understanding me.
I've made a lot of new friends. I can sit with different people at lunch. Even if they're not necessarily my friends, I can make new friends. And the teachers are great. And the academics, it makes more sense for my future now that I'm a senior.
Probably just like for me, the friends and also the teachers too. They're like really nice, so it makes it easier like to understand. Like if you're not getting it, then they're definitely gonna like come and like be like, let me know what you're not getting, and I'll try to see what I can do.
When I come into school, everyone greets you, says good morning. Going through the halls, people always say hi, hello to you.
Teachers are really nice. There's small classrooms. There's like no drama.
You'll be able to meet new friends really fast. You'll be able to understand like the concept of things, and the interactions you have with staff and other students are like incredible.
I was excited about waking up and going to school each morning because I knew that I could go and take educational risks and not be afraid to not know something without fear of being judged by my peers, and with the knowledge that the teachers were really going to help me to grow and to learn tools to navigate my disability in a way that would gear me for success in the future.
Those tools like smaller class sizes, individualized instruction, the integration of services for speech, counseling, and occupational therapy create a well-rounded program for each student to thrive and grow. And teachers love to see their students excel.
The students that are here are so wonderful. They try so hard. They're so excited to learn. They're motivated. They want to be here. And watching somebody who has struggled for so long, I mean, even today, I had a student in my class say, oh my God, I just did it by myself. Like, that's an amazing thing to hear, and to see the light bulb light up, it's just the best.
The difference between where they were in 9th grade and where they were as a senior, you could just see it. They could do so much more independently. They didn't need to be helped every step of the way. Just as not only in working on skills in a subject, but just as an overall student transitioning to adulthood, and and the people they've become.
When you're stressed and anxious, you're not ready to really learn. So once they can relax and trust that we're not going to laugh at them or the other students aren't going to laugh at them, and they can share answers and feel supported, and also that they're getting the right answers. Maybe they weren't able to do that before. So just that little baby steps in confidence building is just really nice to see.
Over the course of a year, somebody sort of hesitant, not willing to ask questions, afraid to raise their hand, and then by the end of the year, I have a question. How does that connect to this? And that's that, yay!
That enthusiasm for students to achieve new heights can be seen throughout the school. A gymnasium was added in 1976 for students to participate in team sports. A greenhouse was added in 1982 for students to understand the concept of growing their own produce and plants. And enrichment programs like art class and making spiritware through graphic art and finding solutions to a problem using a 3D printing machine with a sense of accomplishment and worth. Not all lessons are taught in the classroom, though. There are programs available to get real-world experience.
We have an experiential learning program for the seniors that they get to go out and experience work at a job site. They go on community outings, so they might go to a car dealership and negotiate the price of a car, and they do community service. And we have a student citizenship program where we really talk about what it takes to be a good person and what do you really want for yourself. Moving forward and helping them be successful in all kinds of areas in their life and not just the academic piece.
Students come from 75 different communities in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. Almost 100% of the Learning Prep students graduate. Some go directly into the workforce, while others continue on to college and are now working in the field of their choice. And they thank Learning Prep School to have prepared them for their next step in their lives.
Because of the tools and the support that I received at Learning Prep School, I can live, a quote-unquote normal life where my learning disabilities no longer get in the way of being able to be, a professional.
I brought the use of the thinking maps to college, and they helped me throughout the whole entire thing.
Being able to be actually in, whether it's volunteer or paid, being in that hands-on, real-life experience definitely helped me to learn how to interact with bosses, how to be appropriate with my coworkers, how to be on time.
The great teachers here in the program has positioned hundreds of kids over those years to lead a better quality of life than they would have ever had they not come here.
For 50 years, thousands of students have benefited from the Learning Prep School's method of teaching, social interaction with other students who are similar, and preparing students for the real world. The students, teachers, and staff hope to remain beneficial for the next 50 years for students who may need it.
I think there will always be a need for this kind of school, and that we have the teachers that care and want to be in the trenches with this population of students, and that there will always be a need for us.
I hope the school just continues to grow, continues to use, the most scientific-based techniques for educating the students, because those are constantly changing. We need to stay, up on all the latest and greatest on those sort of teaching techniques. I just hope that it stays functioning the way it is.
I just hope they continue to expand so that kids who need the help can get it and can be successful in life.
This school does a job that no other place does, so I think it's phenomenal. And if you think about the fact of how generally public schools do not like to release their children to go anywhere else, and that for 50 years we've had students from 120 communities come here, and the majority of them have their district paid for them to come here, it's because they recognize that we have a program here that they can't replicate, that no one else can. And I would love to see that continue for another 250 years.
This school is fostering these future leaders, future inventors, future engineers, scientists, and I think it's amazing. I'm happy that they've been able to do this for 50 years and hope they continue and will continue growing in those areas in the future.
In another 50 years, I'm sure there'll be more growing pains, there'll be changes, but I believe that the Learning Prep, because they have a mission, and the mission is to educate children that learn differently, they'll still be here. And I believe they'll be better than ever.
For the future of Learning Prep, for it to remain an important school, we have to continue following the data. We have to continue doing research on best practices and make sure that the more we learn about the brain and the more we learn about learning challenges, that we are delivering the state-of-the-art education, the top-notch education for students who have learning challenges.
It's a happy place, and I don't mean that in a silly, lighthearted way, but there's a positive culture here. As we've said earlier, people like being here, all people, kids and staff.
For 50 years, Learning Prep School has been delivering on its mission of providing a comprehensive educational program for students with mild to moderate language-based learning disabilities, focusing on the development of essential skills, core competencies, social pragmatics, social-emotional well-being, and personal integrity. Congratulations to Learning Prep School for providing students from the community an outstanding education that addresses their diverse learning styles. To learn more about Learning Prep School, you can visit their website at learningprep.org.